we're factoring this trinomial, so the first thing we notice is there is no common factor that I can remove from all terms or factor out. So once again, because it's a trinomial, it's likely going to factor into two binomials. The x squared is the easiest to factor. The two factors would be x times x. If you notice here at the end though, we now have a minus 18 at the end. Or you can write it here if you want to find the factors. But what I want to tell you about that is anytime the last number, the constant number, is a negative, then we know that the two terms, the two factors we're going to use here have to be opposite signs. A negative and a positive. That's the only way the product will be negative, is if you have a negative times a positive, or a positive and a negative. It doesn't matter the order. And because we also know that the signs have to be opposite, we know that the two numbers that we use will subtract to the middle, not add. So please understand that when the last number is a positive, the signs have to be the same, and the two numbers will add to the middle. When the last number is a negative, the two numbers have to be opposite, and those like terms will subtract to the middle. So you can go through the process of writing the factors 1 and 18. A lot of students will say it's impossible to use 1 and 18, that won't give you a 3. 2 and 9. You get to 3 and 6, and most students will zoom in on that and say, okay, the product of 3 and 6 is 18, and those will subtract to 3. So we know it has to be a 3 and a 6. But recall, one has to be negative and one has to be positive. The trick to finding out which is knowing what you want them to combine to. You want these terms to combine to a negative 3 in the middle. Because the middle term is negative, you want the larger of these two terms, the 3 and the 6, the larger, which is a 6, to be negative, and the smaller to be positive. That way, when you combine those or subtract them, you retain the negative sign. Had that 3 been a positive 3, then you would want the larger to be positive. So once you know that the signs have to be opposite because you have a negative at the end, then the typical rule is the larger number will take on the sign of the middle term. If you want to verify this, you can do so by doing this. X times x gives you your x squared. If you want to verify your minus 3x in the middle, do the inner-outer product. This is a plus 3x. The outer product is a minus 6x. Combine those together and you will get a minus 3x. And your last term is 3 times minus 6, which is a minus 18. So recall, in summary, when the last term is negative, the signs are opposite, and the larger number retains the sign of the middle term. When the last number is positive, the signs are the same, and they're both going to be whatever the middle sign is. We're going to factor